All right, so today we're going to unlock the power of conversation. You ready?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Okay, awesome. We are diving deep today into 7 essential English phrases, and these are going to help you chat like a pro.
Awesome.
And even if you think you already know English, this is going to be like a fun little tune-up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so our source material is set up kind of like a mini lesson plan, which is perfect for our deep dive.
I like that.
So
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
it is going to be fun.
Cool.
So what's so cool about these phrases is that they're not just words, they're tools for connection.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it lets people step into any conversation with confidence. And I think that is a really powerful feeling.
That is powerful. Like, you're ready.
You're ready.
Yeah, you got this.
Yeah?
Okay, so should we just jump right in?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with the most classic icebreaker of all time.
How are you? How are you? Such a good one. And you'll find that it's more than just a question. It's a social cue, right?
It is.
It's like saying, hey, I see you and I'm ready to engage with you.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much nonverbal communication can add to this phrase too.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Like a warm smile and direct eye contact.
A head nod.
Yeah, you know those speak volumes?
It's like you're saying, let's be friends with your whole face.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our source material also mentioned the more casual, hey, what's up? I've always wondered about the evolution of slang like that.
Yeah, it's so fascinating, right?
It is.
Because slang is like this linguistic snapshot of a culture in a specific moment in time. And it's constantly evolving. It's often influenced by, regions or age groups. So for example, what's up is very common in the US, but you might hear, all right, in the UK, or how's it going in Australia?
Yeah.
So it's just fun to see how those subtle variations can really add flavor to language.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's move on to another powerhouse phrase. Thank you, just 2 words, but so powerful.
Yeah, you're so right. Expressing gratitude is universally appreciated. And in English, you have a range of options depending on how much emphasis you want to give.
Oh, interesting.
So like a straightforward thank you works in like everyday situations, but
Yeah.
you can kind of dial up the sincerity with a thank you very much, or I really appreciate it.
Right.
Especially if someone has gone above and beyond for you.
I like that it's like you're choosing the right tool from your gratitude toolbox.
Exactly.
You got all the tools in there.
Yeah, you got a hammer, you got a screwdriver.
I love it. So our source material mentions that different cultures express thanks in unique ways, which I think is important to keep in mind.
It is super important, and it can also cause some, funny misunderstandings sometimes. But
Oh, sure.
But yeah, like for example, in many Latin American countries, it's common to express thanks multiple times, even for small gestures.
Right.
So this reflects kind of a cultural emphasis on warmth and gratitude.
Yeah.
And being aware of these cultural differences can really help you communicate more effectively and avoid those misunderstandings.
Yeah. It's like, you're not just learning the words, you're learning about the values
Exactly.
of that culture. Yeah. Which is so important.
I love that.
Me too. Okay, so speaking of cultural awareness, let's talk about a phrase that's especially crucial when you are in a new place or a new situation.
Okay.
Can you help me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a lifeline when you are feeling lost.
It is. It shows strength, not weakness, too.
Really?
Yeah, because it demonstrates a willingness to learn and a recognition that you don't have to have all the answers.
Oh, I like that.
Right. And there's a psychological aspect to it, too.
Okay.
When you ask for help, you're inviting someone to connect with you,
Yeah.
to share their knowledge, their expertise.
I've always admired people who are comfortable asking for help. It shows a real confidence in themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so our source material mentions the more polite version. Could you please help me? It's amazing how a simple pleathy and just a softer tone of voice can totally change a phrase.
Totally. It's all about politeness,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which is a universal language, but in English, it's often conveyed through these subtle cues like word choice and intonation.
Right.
So that, could you please, really softens the request.
Makes it less
demanding. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So our next phrase, love this one. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
It wears so many hats. It
does.
It can get someone's attention, and it can apologize for a minor mishap.
Yeah, think of it this way. Imagine you're at a really bustling market.
Okay.
A simple, helps you politely navigate through the crowd.
Right.
But if you accidentally bump into someone, transforms into a quick apology.
Right.
Signaling that you acknowledge that little mishap.
And like no one's mad at you.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like, oopsie.
Exactly.
That's a perfect example of how context shapes the meaning of a phrase.
It does.
And it's interesting because I think, also speaks to the idea of personal space.
Yes.
Which can vary so much across cultures.
It really can, and understanding those unspoken cultural rules about personal space can be so valuable, especially when you're traveling or interacting with people from different backgrounds.
It can be. And, those cultural misunderstandings, they can lead to some really awkward moments.
Absolutely.
All right. Moving on to a phrase that I think is essential for any language learner, especially when things get a little confusing.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
Because I know it can be tough to admit when you're lost in a conversation, but clear communication is so important.
It's so important. And it takes courage to admit you don't understand something.
Yeah.
But it's a vital part of the learning process.
It is.
It shows that you're engaged.
Yeah.
You're actively trying to follow along.
You're present.
Yeah. And remember, everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language.
Yeah.
It's how we grow.
Absolutely. Okay, so our source material even gives some handy alternatives like, sorry, I didn't catch that, or could you repeat, please?
Yeah.
Those are great.
Yeah. They're all about keeping the conversation flowing smoothly.
They are, yeah.
Showing that you're invested and eager to learn.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of repetition.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, the more you hear a phrase, the easier it becomes to understand and use it yourself.
The more it sticks.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so this next phrase is for anyone who, like me, has a terrible sense of direction.
Oh, no.
Where's the... I mean, talk about a lifesaver.
Truly a lifesaver.
Right, it's like my go-to.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how, even with all of our technology, we still rely on human interaction for directions.
We do.
It's true.
Like GPS and maps are great tools, but there's something about asking a local that just gives you a more personal and often more insightful experience.
Yeah, and you might pick up on some, local spots that don't show up on the map.
Absolutely, the hidden gems.
Exactly. Okay, last but not least, we come to the art of saying goodbye.
Yes.
It seems so straightforward, but even goodbye has its variations, right?
It does.
Like, when do you say goodbye versus bye versus see you later?
Right. You'll find that goodbye is the most formal option.
Okay.
While bye is more casual and friendly.
Yeah.
And then you have phrases like see you later or take care, which express a sense of warmth and this ongoing connection.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, each one kind of carries a slightly different nuance.
It's like choose your own adventure for farewells.
It is.
Yeah, I love it. And speaking of cultural nuances, I bet leave-taking etiquette varies quite a bit around the world.
It does. Some cultures have elaborate farewell rituals with multiple goodbyes and well wishes, while others are much more brief.
Interesting.
But universally, a proper goodbye signifies respect for the interaction and acknowledges the other person.
Yeah.
It's like the final bow in a performance.
I love that. And just like that, we have explored 7 essential English phrases that can help you navigate everyday conversations with confidence.
We did it.
We did it.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, is there a deeper meaning behind these seemingly simple phrases?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What's the bigger picture here?
The real magic of learning even a few phrases in another language is that it opens up not just communication, but also understanding.
Oh, wow.
It's like gaining a new lens through which to see the world and the people in it.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is like you're suddenly hearing all these different parts of the music.
Yeah.
So I guess these 7 phrases, even though they seem so simple,
Yeah.
they give us a glimpse into like the values
Totally.
and the communication style of English speakers?
Absolutely. Like you start to pick up on things like the emphasis on politeness,
Yeah,
the directness when asking for help, the casualness of certain greetings.
it's true.
It really is like a cultural treasure hunt
It is.
hidden within the language.
I love that. Okay, so for anyone listening who might feel a little intimidated by learning English,
Yeah,
I want to say that every journey starts with a single step.
absolutely.
And these 7 phrases are like the perfect
Yeah, they're a great starting point.
starting point.
Yes, dive in.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Please don't be afraid to make mistakes.
To stumble, to ask for help,
It's part of the process.
it is part of the learning process.
Embrace those mistakes.
Yeah. And the key is to keep practicing,
Yes,
to immerse yourself in the language,
absolutely.
and most importantly, to enjoy it,
Yes, have fun with it.
to have fun with it. Yeah. And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
No, you don't.
There are so many incredible resources out there
There really are.
for language learners, like apps and websites,
Online courses.
language exchange partners.
Oh, yeah,
You can find a learning style that works for you.
for sure. That's one of the most exciting things about language learning today is the accessibility and the variety of resources available.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's never been easier to connect with the language and culture you want to learn.
It's like having the world of language at your fingertips.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, so if you are feeling inspired to dive deeper into English,
Do it.
explore those resources, you might surprise yourself.
Yeah, you never know. You might discover a passion you never knew you had.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about how these phrases can help you in practical situations.
Yeah.
But I want to get into the deeper impact. Like, what about the way that even learning a few phrases in another language changes how you see the world
Oh, that's interesting.
and the people in it?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's such a great question because it challenges us to think about language learning not just as acquiring a skill set,
Right.
but as a truly transformative experience.
Yeah.
It's like you said, stepping into someone else's shoes
Yes.
and seeing the world from their perspective.
Does it make you more empathetic?
I think so.
More aware of cultural differences?
For sure.
Does it make you want to learn even more?
Absolutely.
I'd love for our listeners to think about that.
Yeah. What a fantastic point to reflect on.
It is.
It really underscores how language can be this bridge that connects us all, and that even the smallest steps toward learning another language can lead to these incredible journeys of understanding and connection.
You know what? That is a beautiful way to sum it up. Because language learning is more than just words.
Yes.
It's about building bridges,
It is.
expanding our horizons.
Connecting with the world.
Yes. And connecting with the world in a deeper, more meaningful way.
It's a gift you give yourself.
It is.
This journey of self-discovery,
Yeah.
cultural exploration, and human connection.
Well, folks, we have reached the end of our deep dive today into essential English phrases for beginners.
We did it.
We did it. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and feel inspired to start using these phrases to spark conversations and make new connections.
And as you continue your language learning adventure, remember to stay curious.
Yes.
Embrace the challenges and never stop exploring the wonders of human communication.
I love that. Okay, so before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final thought. We've talked about how these phrases can help you in like real life situations and even make you more aware of different cultures.
Yeah.
But what about how learning another language changes you?
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, does it make you more confident or
Okay.
more connected to the world?
I see what you mean.
Yeah, what do you think?
Those are great questions. You know, it makes you realize that language learning is such a personal journey.
It is.
You know, it's a way to challenge yourself to step outside your comfort zone and discover hidden strengths you didn't even know you had.
You might even discover a passion for languages you never knew you had.
Absolutely.
So to everyone listening, I want to encourage you to practice these phrases.
Yes.
But also just pay attention to how this journey is changing you, how you see the world.
That is a great point.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds us that language learning is so much more than just a skill.
It is.
It's a journey of self-discovery,
Yeah.
cultural exploration, and human connection.
So beautifully said. So go out there and embrace the adventure of language learning.
Yeah.
And let these 7 phrases be your passport to a whole new world of experiences and connections.
I love that.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into essential English phrases.
It's been fun.